Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I want to talk to you about the latest episode of Gen V. It was called Sick. And as it starts, a student is tossed in a cell in the woods with others, one of whom is infected, like really badly, with the manufactured virus, and this freaks out the others in the cell. Indira has a talk with the doctor who created the virus and asks him once again to make it airborne, which he's squeamish about doing because he knows it could adversely affect Vought if it gets out of control. Jordan, Andre, Marie, and Kate meet up to hatch a plan to force Indira to tell them everything, but because she was involuntarily reading the other's thoughts, Kate that is, Jordan gets pissed at Kate, but Marie talks him down and they smooch. Jordan then suggests going into Indira's office using his key card, seeing as he's her TA, and finding out what they need to find out. And Marie says that if they're going to do that, they've still got to be able to have someone on their side who will tell everything and be believed, as opposed to herself and Jordan, who are, in her words, a black girl and a bigendered Asian person. Emma, meanwhile, takes all the bloody clothes from Sam's last massacre and heads out to give them to her pyro-enabled super friend for destruction, and notes that she'll have to give him 5 ecstasy pills in exchange. But she tells Sam not to leave the room. Marie and Jordan rummage Indira's office and find a hidden file about Transoceanic Flight 37, which was taken down by terrorists, according to the official story, which we know isn't true. And it turns out that Indira's kid and husband were on it. They're interrupted in their rummaging by the doctor from the woods, talking to himself in Indira's office, while apparently at least somewhat drunk, and he mentions the whole thing about the virus before taking a pee right in her office in the liquor decanter and leaving a file on her desk. Indira meets with a woman and shows her pictures of the infected people she's infected, and says that she needs the woman's help to continue to hide what she's doing from Vought, which is apparently trying to wipe out all the supes as revenge for what happened to her husband and kid, which she apparently knows happened because Homelander refused to save the plane, as opposed to just using the virus as, I guess, an intimidation tactic for control purposes. The woman refuses to help her, saying that it's genocide, then talks by phone to someone that she asks whether or not they got everything that was said, recorded. Sam gets a little bored in Emma's room and starts playing around on the furniture and with her tiny underwear before he finds himself in the hallway partaking in some indoor sledding, courtesy of an ice soup, before being asked to attend a party with all the people partaking alongside him at a different location. And when he's hesitant, they tell him that Emma's going to be there, causing him to go. Andre's dad goes on TV to be interviewed, causing Andre and Kate to have a talk about how he hasn't talked to his dad since he found out that his dad's an ass. And as they're watching, they see that the interview goes haywire when Andre's dad apparently has some type of medical issue like a stroke, at which point Kate tells Andre to just go help. Emma returns to her room to find the hallway all messed up and Sam missing. Andre arrives at the ambulance just in time to see his dad loaded in, and he's having crazy seizures, which are causing the ambulance to collapse, which Andre has to try to counteract. Apparently, the party that Sam was taken to was the same set of the same show that Andre's father was being interviewed on, which has now switched gears to interviewing in a quite hostile manner former head popper and anti-soup activist from The Boys, Victoria Newman, who's running for vice president. Jordan and Marie decide that they need to get to Newman to tell her what they've learned, and in order to get past the guards at the facility where the interview is taking place, Jordan causes a distraction by punching the student who had given Emma a hard time a few episodes back, square in the jaw, at which point a melee breaks out and Marie sneaks into the building where things have taken an ugly turn because the audience of super students doesn't want the government to enact regulations and controls over them, which Newman is advocating, though in a moderate way. As Newman is escaping the melee, Marie manages to catch up to her and they go somewhere to talk. Emma and Jordan manage to find Sam and he tells her what he's been up to, which apparently he enjoyed very much, though Emma cautions him that he can't just trust everybody like that. Meanwhile, Kate pays Indira a visit, and when Indira suggests that Kate take her medicine, she declines because she knows that it was being used to control her. Indira then tells Kate that she's planning to leave the general vicinity and take Kate with her to keep her safe from the virus, as well as that she loves Kate because Kate made her feel like she had a family again. And when she touches Indira's hand, Kate realizes that she's telling the truth, which seems to make her receptive to continuing to do what Indira's been having her do this whole time. Newman and Marie finally get in a room alone, and Newman tells Marie how in awe of her she is and asks her to use her blood powers to discern something about her, which of course is that she's a V-infused soup whose powers are the same as Marie's, and who helped Marie get into God use since she grew up in the same orphanage as her. Marie tells Newman about the woods, at which point Newman cautions her to just let her handle it and stop dealing with it herself because it'll get her shipped off to the adult facility, and tells her that if she keeps her head down, she could be in a better position to help people and possibly find her sister when Newman herself becomes vice president and they continue to be friends. Apparently, the ambulance made it to the hospital where Andre is visiting his dad, who appears to be unconscious. Emma, Sam, Marie, and Jordan go to Indira's house when Kate calls them there, though Andre decided not to go. It would seem that Kate won't have any trouble using her powers anymore because she's off the medication, and that she's forced Indira to disclose everything, which is apparently the fact that the school is just a front for a giant study of superpowered people, and that she does in fact want to kill all the supes because the plane that killed her husband and kid was, as I said, the one that Homelander let go down on the boys. Kate then commands Indira to slit her own throat and then prevents Marie from saving her, even though Marie tells her that Newman is going to help them because Kate says no one can be trusted. Before the episode ends, we see Newman meeting with the doctor from the woods, who was against Indira's crazy plan, who gives her all the vials of the virus he had already created, which he is the only one who knows how to make, in exchange for witness protection after betraying Vought. But after she gets it all from him and learns that he's in fact the only one who can make it, she explodes his head. And he, does not survive that. So once again, I really enjoyed this episode. I can't say enough how much I like this show without repeating things I've said already the whole way along. The characters are all great. I love that they're all trying to do good as opposed to the heroes on the boys who are conflicted and often, do things for their own ends and their own gain, which isn't the case on this show. These people are all trying to help people and do the right thing. Their only conflict with each other is when they don't agree on how best to do that. But even then, they continue, as I keep saying, rowing in the same direction despite their different approach ideas. And I really think that's great. I'm intrigued by the whole angle that was just unveiled, which is that Indira is doing everything she's doing because her family was killed on that plane that Homelander didn't save and didn't allow Queen Maeve to save back on the boys. I'm glad that Kate took some steps to redeem herself. And I liked that she killed Indira, not because I wanted Indira to die. I think that was a little drastic, but it just raises the stakes, right? Because now, how are they going to cover that? How is that going to impact everything? Who's going to run the school now? Are they going to have somebody that's just as bad, but in a different way? Because the school is still a front for a giant study. That wasn't Indira's doing. So that's a whole issue. And that's going to give our heroes something to wrestle with. I can't say that I care all that much about Andre's father and their relationship and anything that might come from that. I can't really see it impacting the story in any way. So I don't know about that. But I do like the fact that Newman is back. So that, introduces a whole nother element into it because she's friendly to Marie and she's already an elected official and she might end up being in even higher office. So that will be interesting. I just really like this show. I don't find fault with it in any way, really. It's just a great show. And I'm looking forward to the season finale next week. And I will, of course, be back to do a recap and review of that episode once it's released. For now, I'm going to get out of here. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.